Blessed be everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about the 4 elements of earth, air, fire and water. But before we do, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path. If you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, tarot, magic and shadow work, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, then take a look at my free video called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. It'll give you some guidelines about where to start. So for example, learning about energy work, working with the elements, and working with the lunar energies, working with the Sabbats, but being able to pace how you do this over, say, a 12-month period. So that is in the description field below this video, and it's called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. Today I wanted to talk about the elements and just give you a brief outline of each of the 4 elements and how you can utilize them in your magic and how you can connect with the elements. These are the Western elements. We have 4 of them. And we believe that from an energetic and magical perspective that everything in life has these elements in them, including ourselves. And when we're working with the elements in magic, we're working with the building blocks energetically of nature. And we're also creating a way that magic can come into the 3D realm, because there's 3-dimensional representations of the elements, but also in the 4D world as well. And so the elements can be a way for the magic to be able to be channeled into 3D world and create what it is that we're wanting to create. So the first element I wanted to talk about was the element of earth, probably because it is my sun sign is the element of earth. It's one of the earth signs. And it is very much represented by our planet. And when we're focusing on earth or trying to learn to connect to the element of earth, some of the ways that you can do that is to tune into the stability or the strength and the weight of the earth underneath you and how it holds you up and how you feel secure when you have your feet firmly rooted on the earth, and how you don't feel secure when you don't have yourself connecting to the earth. Think of grounding, feeling grounded. Sometimes we talk about not being grounded because we're not connecting to the earth energy. It grounds us mentally and physically. The earth is also represented by fertility as well, and it has the lushness of the earth, the plants and the animals, and all of that connects to the element of earth. We are fed through the element of earth and what the earth produces. It maintains us and our survival, so it's a very important aspect. The earth is the physical realm. It's the world that we see around us, and it offers us a solid foundation as well to work on. When we're doing spell casting, we use the pentacle, which is the representative of earth symbolically, to place our petitions on or our magical bags on or candles on in doing the magic. So it's the foundation for our magic. When you're working with the element of earth in your magic, you might want to use earth correspondences or things that represent the earth and resonate with the element of earth. Of course, stones are a great way to do that, whether it's just normal stones or whether it's gemstones. Particular gemstones are very connected to the grounding aspect of earth. So smoky quartz, for example, obsidian, the black stones, the smoky brownie colored stones are very connected to the element of earth. So if you're wanting to feel that groundedness and connect to the earth, you can go stand outside on the ground, barefoot in the earth, feet in the earth, and hold a smoky quartz crystal and feel into that weight of the earth underneath you and the groundedness of the earth underneath you. If you're wanting to get more familiar with earth, another way to do it is just go outdoors. Take your shoes off and walk along the grass, walk along the sand on a beach. Get out in nature, look at the birds, look at the plants, connect with them. do all of that sort of thing. Even tree hugging, where you're connecting to other beings that are very much rooted in the earth, literally. And you can even visualize yourself being a channel for the energy of the earth to come through. So often if you're feeling tired or run down, you can draw the energy up from the earth into your body and regain some of that energy and feel nurtured at the same time. If you're wanting to incorporate more of earth into your spell work, you could create a prosperity jar, because the type of magic you'd use the earth element for is abundance, prosperity, growth, fertility. So you could create a jar where you put some money in, you put some rocks in to represent earth, you can put gemstones in that jar, herbs that represent earth, and fill it with earth-based things. Fill it with the spices like cinnamon, for example, and ginger, herbs like basil, and have your prosperity jar there. Other ways of incorporating earth into your magic is to bury a crystal in the earth. So if you're wanting to bring something to you, you charge your crystal up with your intent, bury it in the earth on your premises somewhere. If you're wanting to take something away, then you'd bury the crystal away from your premises. If you can't bury anything, you can use a spell box, a wooden box where you put your crystal or your spell, and you seal the box, put it somewhere safe, and that can represent working with the element of earth as well, because it's enclosed like a womb and it's wood, which is also connected to the element of earth in the Western system. Moving on to the element of air, this is where I guess it's kind of seen as the opposite element to earth, where earth is cold and dry. The element of air is moist and warm. So it's the opposite. And the air element is about clarity. It's about communication, technology, the intellect, thinking, and we often work with the air element when we need to incorporate more of those things into our life. So the air element can be used in magic to bring things to us. It can also help us get more clarity to communicate, and if you're doing anything to do with technology. You can visualize the air as the breath that carries your intentions. You can whisper your intention into the candle, for example, and you're using the element of air because you're blowing your intention into it while you're whispering. You can blow your intention out into the world by using the element of air. Those kinds of things can be a way that you do that, using incense and having an incense stick and seeing the smoke as carrying your intentions out into the world. Infuse that incense with your intent and then just allow it to take it out there in the world through the smoke of the incense. Anything that represents air to you can be used to connect to the element. So feathers, for example, are a great connection to the element of air. And as I said, incense is a connection too, because you can see the smoke wafting through the air. But go outside on a day where there's some wind and feel the wind around you, feel the wind within you. And imagine that the wind is carrying your intentions away, that the wind is carrying or channeling through you, and you're harnessing the wind and you're channeling that wind in whatever direction you want with your intent, and allowing the spirits of air to carry that intent out for you is another way to work with the element of air. Okay, the element of fire is up next. It's a masculine element too. The element of air is a masculine element. The element of earth is a feminine element. Fire is very active and it really represents passion, creativity, the spark of life, spirituality. And it's the flame. that ignites us and everything. It is the spark of an idea, the spark of a desire that trickles down through the four worlds until it gets into manifestation. When you're tapping into the energy of fire, you can really feel more confidence, more power, more courage, and fiery spells can help with that. You can work with the fire element in your spell work to give you more courage, to give you more confidence, to give the spell more of a fiery push out there, inflame it, ignite it with the element of fire. Candles are a fire element genre of magic. You can use fiery spices, for example, to enhance the element of fire. If you're using your imagination to connect with the element, you can imagine yourself surrounded by a ring of fire, the protectiveness of how you feel being in that ring of fire, the warmth of the fire. Go out and sit in the sun when the UV isn't too strong and feel the warmth of the sun on you. That is also connecting to the element of fire. Candle gazing or fire scrying is a way to connect to the element of fire as well. It's the candle gazing is going to probably not be as powerful, I guess, as gazing into an actual fire, a fireplace or a fire pit. But you can still get intuitive messages just by gazing into a small candle flame. And if that's all you've got, it's a connection to the element of fire. And when you're doing magic, the candle flame is what burns the wax. And the wax is where you've concentrated your intent. So the flame is carrying the intent out into the world. It's burning the intent that's going out into the world. And that's the symbolism of working with candle magic or fire magic. Having petitions, so using petitions where you write your intention down on a piece of paper and then you burn it, is another way of working with the element of fire. And once again, it's the burning and the smoke from the burning that takes the spell out into the world. That's the symbolism behind it. When it comes to the elements, you've got fire, which is dry and warm. You've got air, which is moist and warm. You've got earth, which is dry and cold. You've then got water, which is cold and moist. So water is the opposite of fire. And water is a feminine element, and it is about fluidity and the emotional force. It's about going with the flow. It's a slower energy. Water can wear away the hardest stone. So while we might associate water as being a more fluid element compared to, say, the passion of fire, it's very strong. It's just strong in a different way. It does things in a different way to the way fire does. Fire is very direct. Water is indirect. Fire is overt. Water is covert. So think of it that way. They're just opposite ends of a pole, and they both have their power. It's just knowing when to use the water power and when to use the fire power. One isn't more powerful than the other. There's just times when one works better than the other, and situations that one's more effective than the other, but they're still incredibly powerful. Water can get between things. It can go places no other element maybe could go, except maybe air. It's connected with intuition. It's connected with healing. So if you're doing magic for healing and to enhance your intuition, then the water element is a great one to work with. It can snuff out a fire. So if you're working with a candle, for example, and you want to banish something, for example, you're doing a curse breaker, you can put the candle in water, immerse it in water about halfway, and then light the candle so the candle's burning down, and when the wick gets to the water snuffs the candle out. So that's the way that the water is then banishing the curse, for example. That's a way that you can use water in your magic with a candle spell, for example. Connecting with the water element is probably one of the easier elements to connect with, because you can go for a swim, you could have a bath, take a shower, just put your hands in water every time you wash up. We're probably working with water a lot of the time. Every day we're working with the element of water. So it's about feeling what that water feels like when you put your hands in the water, feeling what that water feels like when you're immersed in the water, the cleansing aspect of being immersed in water. I have found that if I'm feeling emotionally, any sort of emotional upset or unpleasant in an emotional way, if I go to the beach and I immerse myself in the water, it cleanses me. I feel that you can put your energy, allow the water to take that negative energy outside, take it away from you, and cleanse you of that energy. And you can do that by just putting your hands in water and feeling the energy of, the negative energy going into the water, and the water cleansing and taking that away. You can use shells as symbols of the element of water, stones that are connected to the element of water, like water stones, for example, things that you would find in a creek, or stones that would wash up on a beach that have been worn away and smoothed by water will still have a connection to water there. You can scry with water as well, like you can with fire. So just looking into a bowl of water and tuning into what it is that you might get as an idea. You might get thoughts, you might get sensations, you might see things. Water can be used for scrying as a way of connecting with it as well. And I mentioned that if you want to get more connected to water, then immerse yourself in some way, shape or form with water. You can also work with water element by, if you're working with a stone, for example, you might have found a stone on the beach. You can infuse that stone with your intention and then throw it back into the water and allow the water to carry that intention out into the world. So there are ways that you can work with water. But when it comes to the elements, we like to also balance the elements too. And sometimes we can feel that we've got an imbalance when it comes to the elements. So you can also bring in more of that element through visualization of that element coming into your body, for example. And we can also try to take some of that element out of our body too, if we feel that we have too much of it. Another way to balance the elements in your body is to use the opposite element to balance out its opposite. So if there's too much fire in a room, for example, say you walk into work and there's some really heated energy going on, you can imagine that the whole place has got all of this watery energy, and bring the element of water into this fiery environment and see how quickly the environment settles down, because the element of water is extinguishing the fire, for example. And there are ways that you can balance the energy in a space, or even within yourself. If you're feeling too fiery and too fired up, and grounding isn't really what you need, it might be water. So then you can go and work with the element of water and bring more water, like immerse yourself into some water to balance those elements within yourself, because we like to achieve balance. And if you're doing magic where you're focusing on a particular element more so than the others, then you may feel that after you've done the working, you need to balance that energy with maybe one of the other elements, or just allow some of that element to go out of your body and just balance it that way. I teach you all about the elements in the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. That's the 12-month course that I have on Wicca and Witchcraft. You learn about the elements pretty soon, early in the course, because we use the elements in the circle casting and also in magic as well. So it's part of the witchcraft training in the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. That course is there for you if you're wanting to bring Wicca and Witchcraft into your life as a spiritual practice, as a way of connecting to yourself, as a way of connecting to spirit on a daily basis and filling in that missing link, what seems to be missing in your life, And that's that connection to yourself, your spiritual self, your higher self, and bringing it in on an everyday level and taking control back, taking power back of your life, and not just giving it away to the mundane secular world. It's bringing your higher power back to you, and the craft can certainly help you do that. So if you're interested in finally really learning witchcraft and actually having a mentor such as myself along the way, as well as joining a community of other witches who have walked this path too, then take a look at the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. There's a link in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.